John DeSando.
Classics, let's go to the movies and share some popcorn, soda pop with our friends. Turn off our cell phones and get away. Night or day, it's John DeSando on the radio. We'll watch the credits from up high.
Cinema Classics is produced and hosted by John DeSando. Listen to shows Thursdays at 8:01 p.m. on WCBE 90.5 FM. And listen to shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Keivin Carr.
And this is Cinema Classics. Now look at Kevin. I finally got you when you're not cruising around the world. And so not only are we going to be talking about Den of Thieves 2, Pentera.
Yes.
We're also going to get your take on the last year film, because we missed it last week because of the storm.
Yes.
And so I want to hear some things about what you have to say. And so anyway, let's open up with Den of Thieves 2.
Sure.
Pentera. This guy, I can't tell you, I've seen many of his Gerard Butler's films.
Yeah.
What is the matter with me? These are just heist films.
Yeah. Gerard Butler, he had a bit of a presence in the UK because I think he's Irish or Scottish.
Yeah, he's Scottish.
He's Scottish, and he's had a presence in the UK, and then he did 300.
Yes,
and
300
that blew him up in
Hollywood.
And so he's done a bunch of movies, and so he's like Liam Neeson.
He is exactly
churning out these movies.
A younger Liam Neeson, but he's got a good 20 more years and millions of dollars to go because this is apparently doing well, and it hasn't for Lionsgate. It hasn't done well the last 2 years, and now this one is coming through for them.
Yeah. Well, the original Den of Thieves, which came out seven years ago.
That's right. 18.
It was just kind of just dropped and it did okay. I hated it. Loathed it. It was one of my worst movies. It may have been my worst movie of 2018.
Oh my gosh, no.
And so then they decided to do this one because at least it made some money. It did $80 on a $50 million or a $30 million budget. So it was profitable. So they made this, and it's doing about the same. So it's turned into this tiny little franchise, and it looks like they're really going to want to try and expand it and make it sort of the Fast and Furious light without all the fast cars.
Yeah. Well, apparently the first Den of Thieves was unabashedly imitative of Heist or
Heat. Yeah, a lot of people compared it to Heat.
De Niro and
Heat was a better movie though, in every sense of the word. I mean, it was a better directed movie. It had a better story. But what I didn't like about the original Den of Thieves, and this was mirrored in this one, is I hated everybody. Every single character, And you don't have to have likable characters, but they at least have to be interesting. And I didn't find them interesting at all.
Yeah, if you can't identify with them and and you don't like. For me, I just relax. It's a little bit like you and Carolyn on a trip, on a cruise. Just kind of let everything go and relax and enjoy myself.
They definitely let everything go. And there's a lot of shots of just people randomly smoking.
Oh, the smoking. Butler's smoking, my God. He is dead next year.
I think that was in his contract. It was probably like, I'll do the movie, but I got to be able to smoke in all the scenes,
But anyway, so it's I always love heist films.
Okay.
And what I liked about this one, in particular, was all the preparation for the heist.
That was most of the movie.
Yes, most of the movie, which I think is unusual in that most of a movie usually like this is the heist itself. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you got to spread it out that way, and I think the ones that do the best are like the Ocean's movies.
Yes,
the Soderbergh Ocean's movies. Yes. But I'll give you that. I mean, it wasn't just trying to do action for 2.5 hours. There was a lot of not action going on in it.
There's a twist on this toward the end.
Sure.
And I'm not. Did you see it coming?
Yeah,
Well, you didn't care.
I didn't care. I'm just sort of like a piece of algae watching this movie, letting it just flow over me.
Well, Butler plays a cop.
Yeah.
An LA cop, I think. And
I think so.
and Ice Cube's son.
O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Right. Yeah. he finds that that O'Shea's character has been the mastermind of a heist that they got away with
Yeah.
years ago.
Which was the one from the first movie.
For the first movie. And so Butler's character is trying to get back at that. He's trying to, and so he joins them.
Yeah.
I mean, he makes a case for being, without money and just a little bit tired of the whole system,
Yeah.
and joins him
Yeah.
as his enemy there.
It's a bit of a flip of the script. That's true.
I mean, Kevin, but looking at it with a more critical eye, how the hell do they accept him into their group? An ex-cop who really and truly.
There's so much. Don't even go down the logical rabbit hole, John, in this one. Well, no, 'cause it just there are things that on a very basic level, I respect the fact, like you said, that they tried to draw it out and say, okay, these are the things
Yes.
that we're doing,
Yeah.
and we're not just going to go straight in, and then we have to have him endear himself to the criminals so that they can partner together. But I didn't, like I said, I didn't care about anybody. I didn't think the characters worked that well. And then it turned into a lot of people, I think I said this in my other review, was there's just a lot of scenes of underlit people in dark clothes chasing other people in dark clothes.
Yeah. And Butler's getting older and heavier.
They are,
And he's got a beard.
Well, the Butler's, the O'Shea Jackson's, he's the junior and the third at this point. I mean, he's thicker than Steven Seagal in some of his movies.
Oh my God, I know. And it's set in Nice, France. Now you can't get it much prettier.
That's neat. That's nice. That's nice.
That's right. Thank you. Yes. And they're going to be robbing the World
Diamond Center.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again,
Kevin,
like to compare to the Ocean's movies, you're like robbing a casino, and they go through some pretty elaborate stuff. And as I'm watching this, I'm like, is this just some warehouse? And it seemed a little easier to rob than it really should have.
Well, here's another thing, Kev. They're manipulating this whole process when they're going down corridors and stuff. There are ways that they are getting involved in the 137 cameras and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, how are they doing this? I guess electronically.
Yeah, they have the whole scene where they're like setting it up, and they're like, we gotta clock all the cameras, and we're gonna have them rotating and stuff. And then they cut to a scene, and they're like, trust me, we have technology that can do this. It just looks really cool.
I know. I really thought that the possible romance between Butler and that younger woman.
Yeah.
But nothing.
Yeah, the only person who was on a diet in the entire movie was the good-looking woman.
Yes.
Everyone else was porked out because. And look, I am not a svelte guy, but I also don't pretend to be an action star.
Yeah, but you're a former food giant.
Well, a giant.
Competitive.
I'm a current giant.
Yeah.
Just
But that's always been a part of your life.
I love food. I do. Yeah.
And you were a competitor.
I did do competitive eating.
Yeah. And
But that got tough.
yeah, it suits you. Even your beard suits you. I'm not sure.
Well,
Gerard
it certainly
Butler's
helped with competitive eating. It kept a lot of debris in the way.
But Gerard's beard isn't as attractive as yours is.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, Gerard, here's the thing. I don't blame Gerard Butler for these movies. I, in fact, love Gerard Butler. Like, Plane last year was stupid but fun.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And like the Olympus is falling and everything is falling.
Angel is falling.
Yeah, everything. Those are
Kandahar,
yeah,
which kind of threw you into the Mideast in an interesting way.
He's done some really good, just sort of like low budget action movies, and he's game for anything. And so I do have an affinity for Gerard Butler, just not in these movies.
Yeah. Well, actually, this is the same director. I think as London Has Fallen.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think yeah. There's
Christian
something.
Gudegast and the original 2018 Den.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's done only two of the Butler movies.
Okay.
I thought it would have been more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you never know because. I mean, this is somewhat disposable, so it does kind of look like it could be like you remember The Equalizer 3 with Denzel Washington.
I love it. That's why I'm going to Amalfi.
That's a great movie, and I think that benefited from the move to Europe, and this one feels that way as well.
Yes, yeah. I was appreciative in this Den of Thieves, too. I was appreciative of some of the cinematography, particularly the car races. I didn't think how you could improve on car races, but somehow I was drawn into and felt that this was almost the real deal.
Well, I think one of the things with car races, especially in modern action movies, is with the ability of using smaller cameras that still shoot high def, you can put them in places.
Right.
You used to have to just
That's right.
pimp out a rig with this giant. And you saw the Fall Guy, and you saw how they would
Yep.
put the cameras on the outside. Well, you can use just little. I mean,
Well, you can put it right in the car,
GoPros and stuff
right
like
near
that.
the wheel well.
Yeah.
You can,
And they can use. I don't think they really did much with drone footage. As I've seen them movies do drone footage stuff.
I'm getting used to it now.
But you can get it. You can get the cameras can do some really cool things, and you can get almost as 360 within a car, so without rigging it up. And I think that you get an authenticity from that.
Anyway, it is a very pretty location, and they've done that from Jason Bourne. Everybody has gone.
Yeah.
People have gone to Europe. I think has been, as you would say, really been beneficial to them.
Well, I mean, if you're shooting in like just an American city, the American city just because of
Except for
history.
San Fran.
Well, but even say no, they have some older buildings, but a lot of these places in America, like you go to LA, you're not going to get very old buildings. You're not going to get.
And you're not going to get
500-year-old
any more buildings.
Well, in certain areas.
There we
yeah,
go. I
unfortunately.
know. All right, Keivin Carr. If our listeners are going to have to go to our podcast, which is Double Take, if they want to hear what you have to say about 2024 movies.
Yeah.
But right now, what advice do you have for people who are looking for something enjoyable at this time of year? We have the Den of Thieves.
Run, don't walk away from Den of Thieves too, and find something else at the theater. There's plenty out there to see.
And I'm going to advise you to go, if you're like simple-minded like Wayne and me, you'll go enjoy yourself because you're probably going to be the only people in the theater anyway.
I'm sure Wayne loved this.
Yeah, right. You can-
Sorry to throw you under the bus.
Soda pop with our friends. Turn off our cell phones and get away. Night or day, it's John DeSando on the radio. We'll watch the credits from up high. Cinema classics on